I got into cars at a very early age. My older brother was 7 years older than me, and he was into drag racing and fixing cars. And I was always the little kid following him around, rolling the tires around in the pit area, and watching him and his buddies just have a good time. Going back to hanging out with my brother, he was into American muscle cars of the 60s. So that's kind of what I grew up around, and that's what I really liked. Haven't had too many cars. I've had a 63 Mercury Monterey with a 390 engine, which was really a great car to run around with. And when I got my license a few years later, I had an 85 Mustang GT. So American muscle is where it's at for me. But as I got a little bit older, so I started to appreciate the classic cars, the finer cars, the Rolls Royces, the Bentleys, the Duesenbergs, the Packards, the Cords, and I truly fell in love with those cars. The first car show I got involved with was for my local parish back home. I wanted to do a little different take on car shows, and I had seen something online one day about Latin America. The local church down there had a day where people could bring out their animals and animals could be blessed, and they would do a blessing of the animals. And I thought, if you can bless animals, maybe we can bless cars. So I asked the local parish priest if that would be okay, and he said, yeah, that would be great. So in 2011, back at St. Columbanus Parish, we had our first car show and blessing of the autos, and it was very well received, and it kind of gave me the interest to do something a little bit more, do something different than the normal car show where guys drive to the event, park the car for a few hours, and then they drive home from the event. Cars were made to be driven, so I wanted to come up with a little something different. Shortly after the events of September 11th, 2001, I had an occasion to visit my buddy out here in Monterey. And I'm a retired police officer from New York City. I was down there that day. And it was the first opportunity I had to take a little bit of a break. It was about a year later. And he had taken me to the Carmel Mission. And I just fell in love with the place. Just very angelic. The fountain in the central courtyard, something out of a Clint Eastwood movie. It was just, it was really amazing. And Frank is also a car guy. And I said, hey, Frank, why don't we try and do a car show here in the courtyard and combine it with like what I was doing back home, a blessing of the autos. So we approached the parish priest, and they said, let's do it. What other car show in the world can you go to that's in the courtyard of a 300-year-old Spanish mission? A saint is buried there. You can see 50 of the world's most gorgeous cars. You can sip wine, champagne, and beer all day long and have amazing food. I mean, something for the soul, the spirit, the palate, and for your eyes to take in all the natural beauty. So the Carmel Mission Classic became just an amazing event. The Peekskill Vintage Grand Prix in the beautiful Hudson Valley in New York State, just a short 30-minute drive from New York City. We have the city of Peekskill is shutting down the entire city for the day. We created a 2-mile road course through the downtown, through the business district, and then down along the beautiful Hudson River. We're hoping to get about 40 vintage cars, about 50 years old or older. It's not an actual Grand Prix race. Cars won't be racing around. Cars will go out in groups of 10 to 12 cars in a section. They'll be spaced out 15 to 20 seconds apart, and they'll have an opportunity to go around town and put the car through its paces. And while they're doing that, the entire city will come out, and people will be eating at all the restaurants out on the curb and watching the cars go past, and it kind of beckons back to events that were done in the 30s and the 40s and even the 50s, how Pebble Beach, the Concours d'Elegance and the races started. Things that you could do in those times, well, obviously for safety reasons, we can't do now. But this is an event that's going to be absolutely amazing. We have cars coming from the tri-state area, New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut. It's just something different. And like I said earlier, guys like their cars. Cars are made to be driven. So to drive to the car show, park for a few hours, and then drive home, that may be nice, but here's an event where you actually get to drive at the event. And we've got some amazing cars coming. So what's next? Hudson Valley Car Week. What I want to do is create in the Hudson Valley what's going on out in the Monterey Peninsula. What started 67 years ago as a race around the peninsula and a car show, it has grown now into a week and a half of events. There's probably over 50 events going on all over the peninsula. Well, I want to do that in the Hudson Valley. The Hudson Valley is an amazing region. The time of year we want to do it is in the fall when the leaves are turning. It's just spectacular, spectacular driving. So if we can take the Peekskill Vintage Grand Prix next year, create a road rally, create a car show, create a concourse type event, that's what we're looking to do. And we want to do something to rival Monterey. So we can do a West Coast show and we can do an East Coast show.